أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الرحمن الرحيم. مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
I seek refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed. In the name of Allah, the Gracious, the Merciful. All praise belongs to Allah, Lord of all the worlds, the Gracious, the Merciful, Master of the Day of Judgment. Thee alone do we worship, and Thee alone do we implore for help. Guide us to the right path, the path of those on whom Thou hast bestowed Thy blessings, those who have not incurred Thy displeasure, and those who have not gone astray.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. The first lesson is on Surah Al-Fatihah, and this means the opening chapter. There are a number of names of this surah, and the following 10 are the most authentic. The first being Al-Fatihah, which we have just mentioned. The other names are as follows: As-Salat, the prayer. It signifies that the chapter forms a perfect prayer and is an integral part of the institutional prayers of Islam. Alhamd, the praise. It means that the chapter brings to light the lofty purpose of man's creation and teaches that the relation of God to man is one of grace and mercy. Qur'an, mother of the Qur'an. It signifies that the chapter contains the essence of the whole of the Qur'an, providing man in a nutshell with all the knowledge that has a bearing on his moral and spiritual welfare. Al-Qur'anul Azim, the Great Qur'an. It means that although the chapter is known as the Ummul Kitab and Ummul Qur'an, it is nevertheless a part of the Qur'an and not separate from it, as has been supposed by some. As-Sab'ul Mathani, the 7 oft-repeated verses. It signifies that the 7 short verses of this chapter virtually answer all the spiritual needs of man. It also signifies that the chapter must be repeated in every rakat of prayer. Ummul Kitab, mother of the book. It means that the prayer contained in this chapter has been the cause of the revelation of the Quranic dispensation. Ash-Shifa, the cure. It signifies that it provides remedy for all doubts and misgivings. Ar-Ruqiyya, the charm. It means that the chapter is not only a prayer to ward off diseases, but also provides protection against Satan, the rejected, and his followers, and strengthens the heart of man against them. Al-Kanz, the treasure. It signifies that the chapter is an unlimited treasure of knowledge. And here we can see all of the names of this surah in one screen. If we look at some of the statistical information of this surah, it has a total of 7 verses and has 26 kalimat, meaning unique, combined, meaningful words. And it was revealed before Hijrah in Mecca, but in some narrations, it is mentioned that it was also revealed after Hijrah in the city of Medina. The chapter is an introduction to the Qur'an. It is an epitome of the whole book. Thus, at the very beginning of his study, the reader knows in broad outline the subjects he should expect to find in the Qur'an. The Holy Prophet ﷺ is reported to have said that the chapter Al-Fatihah is the most important of the chapters of the Qur'an. In another narration, he has stated that no prayer is complete without the recitation of Surah Al-Fatihah. That is why it is recited in all 5 obligatory prayers as well as in voluntary prayers. The promised Messiah, on whom be peace, also wrote a book titled I'jazul Masih. The promised Messiah, alayhi salatu wassalam, also wrote a book titled I'jazul Masih as a unilateral challenge to his opponents, who claimed that he had no knowledge of the Arabic language. So to prove his supreme knowledge of the Arabic language and the Holy Qur'an, he wrote this elegant commentary in Arabic, spread over 200 pages. The promised Messiah ﷺ writes, "For this book I prayed that God in his majesty make it a miracle for Muslim clergy, that no writer is able to produce a comparable book, and no one is given the ability to write such a book. My prayer was accepted, and God gave me the good news. We will stop it from heaven." And then I concluded that this is a hint that the enemy will be unable to produce a book like thereof. Ijazul Masih, page 66, Ruhani Khazain, volume 18, page 68. If we look at the themes of this surah, it starts with a description of the 4 fundamental attributes of Allah the Exalted: Rabb, the Creator, Sustainer, and Developer; Rahman, the Gracious; Rahim, the Merciful; Maliki Yawmiddin, Master of the Day of Judgment. These attributes signify that after creating man, God endowed him with the best capacities and capabilities, and provided the means and material needed for his physical, social, moral, and spiritual development. Further, he made a provision that all labors and endeavors of man should have an ample reward. Surah Al-Fatihah contains a complete and comprehensive prayer in the words Ihdinas Sirat al-Mustaqim, meaning guide us in the right path. The prayer teaches that we should always seek and invoke the assistance of God, that He may provide us with the means required for our success in this life and the life to come. And as man is apt to derive strength and encouragement from the good example of those noble and great souls who led successful lives in the past, he is taught to pray that just as by God's help and assistance, those righteous and God-fearing people achieved the object of their life and their labors were crowned with success, God should open up for him also avenues of moral and spiritual success. Finally, the prayer contains a warning that after having been led to the right path, man sometimes strays away from it, loses sight of his goal, and becomes estranged from his Creator. We are taught to remain always on our guard and constantly seek God's protection against any possible estrangement from Him. This is the subject which is put in a nutshell in Al-Fatihah. And this is the subject with which the Qur'an deals fully and comprehensively, citing numerous examples for the guidance of the reader. Of the 7 verses, one important verse is verse number 6, which has already been briefly mentioned. Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim. Guide us in the right path. One important point to note is that the reader is taught a prayer to seek the guidance of Allah and to always be on the right path. This path has been further explained in verse number 7, where Allah the Exalted states, Sirat al-ladhina an'amta alayhim, the path of those on whom thou hast bestowed thy blessings. These blessings have been elaborated in detail in chapter 4, verse 70, where God Almighty states, and whoso obeys Allah and this messenger of His shall be among those on whom Allah has bestowed His blessings, namely the prophets, the truthful, the martyrs, and the righteous. And excellent companions are these. This verse shows that the blessings of Allah the Exalted will continue on those who follow and obey Allah and the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In this part of the program, we are going to learn about some rules of recitation, verse number 5 of chapter 1, the Surah Al-Fatihah, which is a focal point in this program, in today's program. Now, the verse 5 is A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. And we can see that this verse has 5 words. So, inshallah, we are going to deal each word separately. So, the first word is Iyyaka, which has been underlined, magnified, and in this sheet you can find there are 4 subtle points. The first point is that this is Ya Mushaddad. Iyaka, the first letter is Alif with Kasra, Hamza Alif with Kasra E, and Ya Mushaddad, Ya sign of Shadda and then Fatha. So this is called Ya Mushaddad. So any letter which carries or holds a Shadda sign, it is called Mushaddad. And when we see that Alif, Ya, Alif, and Kaf, all these 4 letters are thin letters. Now in Tajweed is a very important concept that there are some letters which are thickly pronounced, heavily pronounced with a full mouth, and there are some letters which are thinly pronounced and they are pronounced with an empty sound, empty mouth. And we find that Hamza Alif, Ya Mushaddad, and then Alif, and then Kaf, all these 4 letters are thin letters, Muraqqaq. The third point is that 1 count and 2 count rule. So in Iyaka, this Alif with Kasra, only 1 count pronunciation, and Ka, only 1 count. So E, 1, Ka, 1 count. And Ya Mushaddad will be prolonged 2 count, 2-second rule, because it is followed by Alif Maddiya, Alif of elongation. So if we remove Alif from Iyaka, Iya, it will be Iya. But alif is a extender, prolonging, and then ya mushaddad will be prolonged up to 2 seconds, 2 counts, iyaka. And how to pause in this? Now we find that ka is a consonant, and this is with fatha, or any letter, any consonant letter with any stroke like fatha, kasra, or dhamma, uh, the the sound will be in a sakin, in a stationary position, and that will be mute at the end, meaning that stroke will not be pronounced and will not be included in the pronunciation. So iyak, 2 second, the count, it could be 2 second, 4 second, or up to 6 counts, depending on the mode of recitation. If the mode of recitation is normal, it will be iyak, simple 2 counts. If we are medium long stretch, as we do that in a different mode of recitation, where we make a medium long stretches at the end. So in this case, it will be iyak. So similarly, starting from 2 up to 6 counts. So the next word is na'budu. And in na'budu, there are 5 points which needs to be taken care of that. First of all, 1 count rule. We find that noon with the fatha, na, 1 count. Ba with dhamma, bu, 1 count. Dal with dhamma, du, 1 count, not more than that. So 1 count rule will be applied in this second word. And the second point is that make sure that ayn is pronounced nicely, and make a difference between hamza sound a and a. And in this case, a noon is followed by ayn sakin. So ayn is sakin. Any letter with a skoon, with a jazm, is called sakin. So in this case, na'budu, ayn will be sakin, because ayn holds a jazm, a skoon on top of that. And the pronunciation will be na. Remember, this ayn make a distinctive sound. Do not pronounce like like a na'budu. Only jerk is not allowed, or jerk will not be enough, but a light jerk, because that is a simple, that's a nature of ayn. Ayn should be pronounced from the middle of throat, middle of throat. So hamza, like a, it is pronounced from the bottom of throat, the lower part of throat. It is pronounced hamza, but in the middle part of throat, that is ayn. So pronunciation will be na'budu, bu and du. And all, the fourth point is that similar to iyaka, na'budu, noon, ain, ba, dal, these 4 letters, all thin letters, okay? So all thin letters, they will be pronounced with an empty mouth, without any heaviness, simply na'budu. And how to pass? Because the dal is a consonant, as kaf, iyaka. So dal, and when we make a pause on dal, because dal is a letter of letters of one of the letters of jerk, meaning kalkala technically. So the light or medium jerking sound will be applied here. Na'bud, na'bud. So ain, na'bud. So that's the point of in the first second word. Next we find the va. Va is also a thin letter, meaning it will be pronounced with a thin sound with an empty mouth. And again, 1 count rule will be applied. It will not be like that va, but iyyaka na'budu va. 1 count rule will be applied here. And then the third point is that this is a stand-alone meaningful letter. So va is always the part of the next word. Remember, it is not part of the previous word, like na'budu. We cannot make a pause on that iyyaka na'budu wa, because wa at the end with a consonant, wa with a fatha as a consonant, will not be at the end. Va as a consonant will always be part of the next word, which is the wa iyaka. And so how to pass? It cannot be passed on that, because any word, any letter in the beginning, we cannot make a pause on that one, because that is the starting point. The pausing or stopping always apply at the end of a word, meaningful word. So these are points of va, which inshallah will be dealt grammatically in the next part. Next, we come to iyaka. Again, the repetition of the first word iyaka. Remember all these iyaka, alif, ya mushaddad, and then alif maddiya, alif of elongation, and kaf. These are the consonant letters. These are meaning they carry a proper sound, a distinctive sound. And the letter of elongation is in between, the third letter. For example, iyaka, after ya mushaddad, this alif will be is a letter of elongation. Okay, because of this alif maddiya or alif of prolongation, ya mushaddad will be prolonged up to 2 counts. Then the third point is that medium stress due to shadda. Remember, there will not be a strong stress on that one, not iyaka, but simple, because this is a double letter. So iyaka, a bit stress on that one, but not much that from thinness it becomes to thickness, meaning because ya mushaddad is only a thin letter. The next word is nasta'inu. Now remember this word, noon with fatha. Any letter with a fatha is called maftuh. Technically, in istilah, it is called maftuh, a letter with a fatha. Then seen sakin, because seen carries a schoon on that, jazm, so that will be seen sakin. Then again ta maftuh, because it carries a fatha. And then ayn will be maksur, because ayn holds a kasra beneath. So ayn will be ayn maksur or ayn maksura if it is an attribute. And then ya sakin again. And at the same time, ya will be a letter of elongation as well, because that is ya maddiya. As we say, iyaka alif maddiya, ya maddiya means ya which is playing the role of elongation or extension. And then the noon will be madmoom, because noon carries a dhamma, it will be madmoom. So in other words, we can say that the word nasta'in technically from istalahat, it maftuh. There are 2 maftuh letters, noon maftuh and ta, and then sin sakin, ain maksur, and ya sakin, and then noon madmoom. So these are the 4 terminology terms which we can understand with this one. We have dealt with ya maddiya, like ayn, 2 counts, and then make distinctive sound of ayn. Again, as na'budu, please make sure that you make a distinctive sound and it is not confused or similar to hamza sound, which is nasta'inu, ayn, middle of throat, not the lower part of throat, bottom of throat, like nasta'in. No, not, it's not in, is ayn, nasta'in. And also it is important, like iyaka, na'budu, and other words in this verse, all these noon, sin, ta, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 letters in this word nasta'inu, all are thin letters. Okay, there is none of a thick letter here. All will be pronounced with an empty mouth, nasta'inu. And how to pause? The same as we did that iyaka, because ya will be prolonged here, ya maddiya, you know, the ya maddiya after ayn, that will be prolonged up to 2 counts, 4 or maximum 6 counts, depending or subject to the mode of recitation in which you are reciting. So that will be nasta'in, simple, or longer. Nasta'in. So that was an analysis of the rules of recitation of verse number 5. Now we will read that one. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. So at the end, I have made a longer extension because that is also a part of Sunnah of the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to make elongation at the end. Both ways are okay if you do 2 counts or 4 counts or 6 counts, depending subject to the mode of recitation. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In this part of the program, we are going to learn about at-Tahleel, grammatical analysis of verse number 5 of chapter 1, Surah Al-Fatihah. Now the first word is Iyaka. And Iyaka, the first point, we should note that this is a second person pronoun, ka. The word ka is a second person pronoun, and it is used for to address someone, to addressee, Iyaka, and it is a singular. Like we say, Assalamu alayka. Hundreds time, the word, this pronoun has been used in the Holy Quran in different formats, sometime in a singular, sometime in a dual, sometime kuma or kum as well. So in Salat, we say, Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabiyyu. So peace and salutation upon you, alayka. And in common term of salutation, we say, Assalamu alaykum. So ka is a second person pronoun, and it is used for addressee for the second person, and it is singular. Now, the second point is that in this verse, it is in objective case. It means that it is subject to some action and mostly used after verb. The ka mostly used attached after a verb. And very good example of this is Dua Qunut, which we offer after Isha prayer, where almost 16 times the word ka has been, several times the word ka has been used. So like, Allahumma inna nasta'inuka wa nastaghfiruka wa nu'minu bika wa natawakkalu alayka. So ilayka, alayka, and sometime with the verb it is used. And as I mentioned that, like nastaghfiruka, nasta'inuka, tahharaka, istafaka, many places in the Holy Quran, it is used as attached pronoun, damir muttasil, with a verb. But in this case, we find the word na'budu is a verb, which means we worship, we serve. And the word iyaka has been used in the beginning before that one. Because the ka or kum cannot be used alone, stand alone, if they are going to be used before a verb, then the iya comes with that. So iya and ka, the combination is that attached to the detached pronoun. So ka is a attached pronoun and iya is alone, and iya demands a pronoun, attached pronoun. So the word, full word is that iyaka. And number 4 point is that the word iya which is used with sometime ka, sometime koma or kum, or any other attached pronoun like ha or who. It is used to intensify and put stress and emphasis on the meaning. So iyaka, the translation is made that you alone, we alone, you alone, iyaka. And we find some examples in the Holy Quran, which inshallah ta'ala that will be mentioned later on. So these are the 4 points. And then we move to the next word, na'budu. Now, the na'budu is a verb. Na'budu, we worship, we serve. That is a verb, fail. It is imperfect, meaning it is imperfect. It includes present and future tense or time. And the mark of recognition is noon, which has been highlighted with the red, noon. There's a mark of recognition that this is an imperfect verb. And earlier, with regards to iyaka, I was quoting Dua Qunut, which we offer in Witr prayer. And I mentioned that 16 times, and actually the 16 times was this noon, which I wanted to highlight that one. That several times the word ka has been used there as an attached pronoun after a verb. And as a mark of recognition, as a plural, noon has come 16 times. Like for example, nasta'inuka wa nastaghfiruka wa nu'minu bika wa natawakkalu alayka wa nuthni. You count down is 16 times. It's a very rich example that the verb which has been used in a plural form, okay, and the mark of recognition that this is a plural is noon with fatha or noon maftuha. The second point is that the na'budu, the root letters are these three, ain, ba, and dal. Ain, ba, dal, these are the three central letters or root letters or radical letters. And from there several words come out. So word, the perfect tense is from here, abada, he served, he worshipped. Ya'budu, he worships. Yeah, he serves, and it includes future as well, meaning we can add will with that one. And ibadatan is a verbal noun for that one. So if there is a ya'budu, mark of recognition is ya, for that he serves, he worships. Na'budu, we worship or we serve. And in Suratul Kafirun, a'budu, ta'budu, ta'budun or a'budu, alif is a mark of singular imperfect tense. Inshallah ta'ala, later on in classes, it will be dealt in great detail. The third point I like to mention that detached pronoun. Detached pronoun, the subject of this verb na'budu is hidden and intended. It is not mentioned, and it is included in the meaning. For example, na'budu, the detached pronoun or dhamir munfasil will be nahnu. So na'budu includes nahnu na'budu, that we serve, we worship. And then the fourth point is that the meaning is that to worship and to serve with humility, with the meekness of and with obedience. So na'budu is a range of meanings, and two important meaning is that worship with great submission of heart and soul, and serving with meekness of heart and soul and obedience. Next word is va, and this is a connecting particle. It means this is a conjunction, making a bridge between two words, two sentences, two verbs, anything meaningful to it comes va in the middle. And technically it is called harful atf or meaning again the connecting particle or conjunction. Atf means to join together and to serve. And there are several uses of this wa in Arabic grammar, about 7, 8, very, very distinctive and important. And they have been used in the Holy Quran. But this, in this first class, just know that this is a connecting particle. And this is fixed in harakat, meaning when va is used as a consonant and in a connecting particle like a harf, the fatha is fixed and it is always part of the next word. Then again, the word iyaka has come. As I mentioned, this is an attached pronoun. This is an objective case, meaning that is a verb is making an action on that one, and that is nasta'inu. Before the first word iyaka, nabudu was working on that one. And that's iyaka nabudu, meaning iyaka is placed in the beginning, but in the pronunciation, that will be dealt that we worship thee alone, or in translation, it is said that you alone we worship. And if we remove iya, then it will be na'buduka, we worship you. And iya is brought to intensify, to put a lot stress on in the meaning. So this is objective case, and when it is required to come before the verb, then the iya is added to that one. We cannot use ka, comma, kum, or any attached pronoun before a verb without using iya. That is why the word iya is used. The exception is one. Sometime after verb is used iya, okay, but in between the word illa will come, or va. The first example in Surah Bani Israel, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا, and then the last word iyahu, but in between this ta'budu verb and iyahu, the word illa has come, and the meaning is there. And then nahnu narzuquhum wa iyyakum, again after narzuquhum, again the va has come. So meaning is that it does not mean that the word iyaka or iyakuma or iyakum or iyahu will come, always come to make a stress or intensify the meaning before a verb. It can come provided illa has come just after verb or va. So in this case, we have also uses in the Holy Quran. And the final word is nasta'in. Again, remember, noon with fatha is a mark of recognition for plural imperfect verb, fe'l mudare. So it is a verb, imperfect. It includes present and future, and mark of recognition, I told you noon 16 times has been used in Dua Qunut, because we offer on daily basis this prayer, so it is quite easy to understand that one. Otherwise, in the text of the Holy Quran, there are hundreds of examples where noon, this kind of words have been used in the Holy Quran. And then nasta'in, the three root letters, ain, vav, and noon. These are the three root letters. And as we say that abada yabudu, so it's a ista'ana, he sought help. Yasta'inu, he seeks help or assistance. And ista'anatan is a verbal noun. So when we say nasta'inu, noon, it means we seek help, or we ask for help, we implore for help. And again, this is a detached pronoun, subject, it's subject, it's file, it is hidden, meaning nasta'inu, nahnu is intended and is hidden in there, and that is there. For example, when we say thank you, so if a company, many people are saying that together, thank you, the we will be in the beginning, and this is understood. If I say thank you, one person, I is intended. Similarly, when we say nasta'in, nahnu, which means we, that is also part of that understanding. And as I mentioned, that nasta'inu means from the root letters to seeking help, assistance, and support. So that is the conclusion, grammatical analysis of this verse number 5 of the Holy Quran. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In today's class, according to the format of this program, we are going to learn about how to write Surah Al-Fatihah. And we can see here that some letters are written as alone, mufrad, and some are murakkabat. For example, Seen and Waw, murakkab. Ra, standalone, mufrad. Ta marbuta, mufrad. Alif, mufrad. Lam, Fa, and Alif, murakkab. Ta, Ha, and again Ta marbuta, murakkab. And because the Surah Al-Fatihah, Surah Al-Baqarah, and different 114 surahs, because the word surah will be written in each program, so it will be written in different format. And similarly, Alif Lam in most names of Surah starts with Alif Lam. So that will be dealt with later on. Today, just focusing on this murakkab, the first part of this surah, this word, Seen and Waw. Now, when we write something, then we have to check according to the rules of this fun, Khate Thulus calligraphy. And the check 1 is that the first part of scene should be starting with an angle of 65 to 70 approx. So, for example, this is a 90 angle, like this one, full, and little slanted between 65 to 70, that will be is here. So that check is okay, that is fine. And the second check, the bowl 1 should be 1 dot or 1 nukta wide. So this is bowl 1, kasa awwal, and kasa thani, or kasa ula or kasa thaniya. So this is a bowl 1 and bowl 2. And the check 2 is that there should be 1 dot or 1 nukta. So if we take that one, like this measure, this is 1 dot, approximate. Check 3 is that the left part edge of a bowl 1 should be little low than the right edge. So for example, if this is the right edge and this is the left part, that should be little lower, not exactly. So when we draw a line, we find that this check is okay because a little lower of this check. Then the check 4 is that the left part of the left part, this is about 1.5 quarter of this nukta. So check 4 is that the left part or left edge of the first pole should be pointing to right side. So it is not pointing, for example, to this side, but to the right side. So if this is the right side, you see, when we can make a like this pointing, make this round circle as well. So this pointed, the check 4 is that the left part should be pointed towards right, and it is okay. Check 5 is that second bowl of scene, which is this one, second bowl or kasa, should be a bit deep as compared to bowl 1 by quarter dot. And we can see that this is the depth of this one, and this, if we take this bit more deeper. And in the same way, we can say, we draw a line here, so this is a bit up, and this difference here and here, should be in and out. The depth inside and outside with the both bowls in and out can be checked. If this is a deeper, this bit up. And the check 6 is that second bowl should be wide than the first bowl, about 1.5 nukta to 2 dots maximum. And when we see here this and this is about 2 dots, 2 nuktas. So like this and this, 2 dots. It could be 1.5, maximum 2. So that's bigger. Then check 7 is that left part of the second bowl should be pointing to left side. So this is basically when we make that to this one, is to the left, not to the left, to that side, but to the left, like this, this one, that side, left side. Not to that, but to the left. And check 8 is that, and also point is that if this is the first edge, bit down, and if we draw a line, this line, the first line, and bit down, and this is a double, more. So that the difference between this and this is a bit double. So the first edge, height wise, is more, and then little down, and then more down here. So this difference and make this difference. For example, if this is 1/4, this is 2, this line. And then check 8, the connecting line from third tip, this the one, 1, 2, and the third tip or edge or wall to the head of wow should not be less than 3 dots. So from here to here, it could be 3 dots. Basically, the wow is 2 dots. So this one and this. And this is the edge, because if this is, and it is around 1 dot. This one. So basically from here to here 3, 2 for wow, head of wow, rasul wow, and this connecting line, this is 1 dot. And check number 9 is that the body of wow from neck to its bend in ra of this one should be this wow 4 dots. So if this is from here 1, 2, 3, and this 4. And again, the difference between this wow, the end part of this bend should be 2 dots or little more. So 1 and 2, a little more. So 2 dots. Okay. So 2 point of this one. So that was seen and wow. Now, if we do practice in different columns, for example, just written down this one, and the same criteria, and we can see here, what is this? Remember, this one is up to 1.5. So this is 1 dot and 0.25, and that will be 2. So 2 and like that. 2. And as I said in the beginning, 1 dot in the first bowl, so that is 1. The second kasa will be deeper. So if we take that this and this and that, look, this difference and this difference. And the second bowl will be 3, the 2 dots. So like 1, a bit longer, and then 2. It could be 1.5 or 2. So that should be up to, that 3. This. And that will be up to 2. So we can see here that 1 and 2 and that bigger. Basically, these are the 3. And then there would be from bend to the bottom of wow is 4. So if this is from here to here, 1, 2, 3, and that's 4. Then I mentioned that the end part of this bend and to the rasul wow, the head of the wow could be 2. So that's 1 and that's 2. This. Remember the eye. This is the eye of the wow. So that is in Murakkab, Seen and Wow. So if you keep practicing with, whatever size of column, inshallah you will, if you check these things, 11 points or something, and it could be up to 3 here, starting from here. And thus around 3. So that is, that's 3. So this is a Seen Wow, and inshallah next class we will be dealing with Ra Mursal, this Ra. There are 3 kinds of Ra and there are different kinds of Wow as well, and inshallah ta'ala that will be dealt in the future classes. Jazakumullah.